start? Yeah, go for it.
Alright, so my presentation's on human growth hormone, HGH, get a little structure there. Alright, so what is it? It's coded for in the Q22 to 24 region of chromosome 17, and 191 amino acids long, just a single chain protein. You can see that it's from the pituitary gland. You get GH, is growth hormone in humans, human growth hormone. It's released in the liver. It goes to the liver where the receptors are, which signals a release of insulin-like growth factor, IGF. So IGF is kind of what actually signals the response here, but HGH is the first signal. The metabolic responses of IGF due to the HGH, you get increased osteoblast and chondrocyte activity. So what that means is you have bone growth, stronger bones, and cartilage growth as well, so connective tissue. Stimulation of sarcomere hyperplasia, so that means the cells are dividing faster and you kind of get increased muscle mass. Your muscles appear bigger. Increased protein synthesis and decreased glucose uptake and increased gluconeogenesis, so that can have problems where it might lead to diabetes, type 2 diabetes. Some regulation of HGH and some inhibitors are growth hormone inhibiting hormone, which kind of makes sense, also known as somatostatin. HGH is negative feedback, and IGF, if it's in the blood, in the system, it has negative feedback and prevents more release of HGH. And hyperglycemia, as I mentioned, because HGH leads to a release of glucose in the bloodstream. Some stimulators are growth hormone releasing hormone, which also makes sense. Sex hormones such as androgen and estrogen also have a result in increased HGH, and you kind of think about this, it takes place in puberty when your sex hormones are raging, and that's also when you're growing a lot, so if you think about it, it makes sense. Hypoglycemia, opposite of hyperglycemia, and then it is found that in deep sleep, like stages 3 and 4, is when HGH is released primarily, but also during the day. So some clinical uses of this. Here's the world's smallest bodybuilder who obviously had a deficiency of HGH when he was growing up, so he is now very tiny. So as I said, HGH deficiency leads to growth failure. It was original when they wanted to use this in the clinic. They originally took it from pituitary glands from cadavers, but they found that 10 to 15 years later, people who received those injections were getting sick, so they think it might have been with prions being transferred over or something. So now they've found a way just to use recombinant DNA to introduce it into the system. It can be used for treatment with diseases that aren't due to HGH deficiency, such as Turner syndrome or Prader-Willi syndrome, which are just two different diseases that cause short stature. And it's also been used as an anti-aging agent, because it increases the water storage in the muscles and decreases subcutaneous fat, so it kind of makes you look younger and like your muscles are bigger and you look more fit. And then finally, it's used in athletics. Lost like this because it's the Yankees. So your muscle mass increases, but they've actually shown that it doesn't make you any stronger. The real advantage is that you have increased connective tissue, as I mentioned, so you have more protection from injuries and faster recovery speeds. So like when Andy Pettit admitted that he used HGH, he said that he used it when he was trying to recover from an elbow injury because he thought it would help speed it up. So I'm done.